Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
What a bunch of a-holes.
A group of intergalactic renegades and outlaws must pull together to stop a fanatical warrior with plans to purge the universe. Can these misfits come together and save the galaxy? Directed by James Gunn, Gunn had shown some promise with previous projects, but nothing could have prepared us for the magnificence that is Guardians. I look forward to what he's going to do with Suicide Squad. We won't dwell on his Twitter feed or his TDS, but appreciate the great piece of cinema he helped create. Chris Pratt is a revelation here. He always had a likability factor that was off the charts, but this leap to leading man was epic. He even made the terrible Jurassic Park films watchable. He's perfect in the role of Star-Lord, the Han Solo of the 2000s. Zoe Saldana is Gamora, a strong woman of green colour, the sexiest green woman since Captain Kirk's conquest back in the 60s. Bradley Cooper has a show-stealing performance as Rocket Raccoon. He's all about big guns and big attitude. Dave Bautista as Drax, a man who doesn't understand metaphor in a film filled with them, and Groot, the modern-day Chewbacca, whose wooden acting from Vin Diesel actually works here. Gunn and Perlman's screenplay is amazing, but they truly are standing on the shoulder of giants. The soundtrack is close to perfection, with the greatest 70s-80s mixtape of all time and a fantastic score by Tyler Bates to match. I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel Universe, more of a DC guy, and the MCU's best days seem to be behind it. Wokeness has infected the franchise to the point of being terminal. I would like to step back though and take a look at the only truly classic movie this franchise produced. Without great fanfare, from an obscure comic book came a film about a group of misfits including a walking tree and a raccoon. This is a family movie, not just because it's a movie for families to watch, but it also praises the idea of family. It's a shame that it's such a rare thing in Hollywood movies today. To make a classic movie, you need at least 3 fantastic elements. I call this my spaghetti film theory. The trifacta's best example is Sergio Leone, director, Ennio Morricone, composer, and Clint Eastwood, movie star. 3 individuals who are the pinnacle of their profession, who raise a good movie to a classic. The spaghetti western genre should not have worked, and has many faults. But the 3 elements of Eastwood, Leone and Morricone make a great into a classic. This theory works for Guardians, James Gunn, Chris Pratt, and a great score with the awesome mixtape, plus a whole lot more. The film starts with a child watching his mother die from cancer. Doesn't sound like a bundle of laughs. But from the moment that Star-Lord begins to dance through the devastated wastelands, this film is an unbridled joy. This positivity in the face of such destruction is a duality that plays out throughout the entire film. The characters in this story have experienced loss and misfortune. It's how they learn to deal with the loss which differentiates them. As a kid, Peter stands up to the bullies who are trying to smush a little frog. As Star-Lord, he stands up to the bullies who are trying to smush an entire planet. Star-Lord is an heroic character who stands up for those who use their power against weaker opponents. Peter creates his space pirate persona Star-Lord to gain respect. He finally gets that respect when his adversaries know his name. Let's look at the antagonist, Ronan. He has been criticised as a subpar baddie, but I thought his millennial-style pouty child was a nice twist on the bad guy trope. His terrorist and zealot persona, like Peter's, Star-Lord helps the insecure child that he is. This is the way of dealing with loss and the trauma of his childhood. Ronan, in my view, is a sympathetic character. He just made darker choices. This is clearly shown in his defeat by Star-Lord. His almost childlike inability to understand Star-Lord's trolling at the end of the movie highlights his stunted growth as a Kree. Star-Lord has many faults, which make him relatable. He is clumsy, overconfident, a little slow on the uptake. He doesn't always do what is right. He is in many ways the man-child. It is when he commits to his friends, making a family structure, that he grows. He is no longer all about self. The movie is genuinely funny, and it is this humour that gets our heroes through the dark times, which we all face. This is a film that also nails the emotional moments, and never crosses the line into mush. In the post-credit scene we get Howard the Duck, almost as a troll to the Marvel franchise. This film should be seen as a single entity. All other appearances in Marvel movies will only take away from this as a standalone film. Although saying that, I will still go and see the third movie, if it ever comes out. Before Hollywood was completely taken over by left-wing ideology, it was possible to have a mainstream movie that thought families were a good thing, the patriarchy wasn't toxic. Imagine Gamora saying to Star-Lord in 2021, "We will follow your lead." Although this film was made in 2014, the infection of woke culture has moved a long way since then. A straight white male is a leader, a man who is strong, good and compassionate. This doesn't fit with the Disney model of today. Star-Lord needs to be taken down as a hero, especially as in the real world Chris Pratt seems to be a Christian man who doesn't toe the woke party line. One reason we know this film is a threat to left-wing ideology is Star-Lord's character is being fundamentally changed from straight white male to a more woke, acceptable, polyamorous bisexual. I don't even know what polyamorous is. On the manly meter, it gets 4. It's not 100% testosterone, it's more a thoughtful action movie which has feelings and emotions. But hey, men have feelings too.